Good morning and welcome to Your Pet Matters and the Collaborative Vet YouTube and podcast. I'm your host, Michael Dr. T. Tequila, and I've got two special guests today. It's something that we're going to talk about that is really changing the industry. It's making things much easier on individuals such as myself. So it's a software program, and I'll just leave it at that because I want to get into the details with the co-founders here. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Brendan and Ryan Salvino, the co-founders of VetTalk. Hey guys, thanks for being on the show. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you for having us. This has been
thanks for having us.
So as I always do with the show, I'm always really interested in not only what you guys have created here, but how you got into doing this. We call them origin stories. So guys, what's your origin story?
Brendan and I, Brendan came to me with an idea on creating software for within the medical space that actually related to marketing, where we would create software that would create customized marketing campaigns for small clinics. So we first were thinking about being in the healthcare space, like optometry, dentistry. My wife is in the dental space. But then, after speaking to, and then we looked into the veterinary space, and we are all, Brendan and I and our whole family are big pet lovers. I think we have 6 or 7 dogs in our family. So we spoke to our local vet, and we spoke to some other veterinary friends, and they really expressed a great need, especially during the pandemic, of automation for follow-ups, in automating a lot of this internal process that happens after a pet and the pet owner visit the clinic. There's a need to follow up with that pet owner, making sure that owner is following whether it's discharge instructions or post-care instructions, because as we all know, care doesn't stop when the pet leaves the clinic. And so what we're doing is we're creating a software platform that automates this so that the vet techs, vet staff do not have to, maintain that follow-up process and manually like they are now with phone calls and voicemails and things like that. It's very time-consuming.
When we initially had the idea, we did a lot of research. We talked to a number of different vets, and it seemed like, one of the biggest pain points given kind of this massive growth in the number of dogs and pets that were purchased through the pandemic was the fact that, a lot of these follow-ups that they were doing was a pretty manual process. And so, given our backgrounds, we figured we can go and try to develop a new technology and software to help kind of alleviate some of those pain points within the clinics. And so, we've been working at this for really the past probably 7 or 8 months. And, we're at the process where we'll hopefully be launching the product here by the June timeframe. So, we're super excited about what we've built and what we'll continue to build going forward.
No, that's excellent. And you brought up a couple of interesting points because, Ryan, you said your wife's in the dental field. I think the dentist, we as veterinarians always look at the dentist as the best and the gold standard for sending out reminders, reaching out and embracing new technologies such as yours to discuss things with clients and everything like that. Because the perception is that, no one wants to go to the dentist and so forth. So I've always used them as my gold standard, and my own dentist, I always talk to him all the time about, he's always updating software and everything like that. So I think that's phenomenal. And yes, time constraints. I mean, what do my techs tell me? Callbacks are the biggest pain in the butt they have to do, period. So I think it's phenomenal that you guys have done this. I think it's phenomenal. So a little question on that. So how is it automated? How does it work? How does the system work?
So really how we figured that this would work is we've actually started and connected with a number of different practice management systems. And how the software works is through triggers within our software. So our software is speaking to the practice management systems, and so there's different triggers like the appointment actually happening, or the different types of billing codes that are coming through the practice management system, so that when a pet owner brings their pet actually in the clinic and that invoice code or billing code is charged, that prompts our system to send out that follow-up, and those follow-ups can be customized by the vet or the vet tech. And so it's really being done all on an automated basis in the background, with the customization that we'll bring to the clinics as well.
That's great. That's great. And so I'm assuming you've done some beta testing and trials and everything like that with the vet hospitals. What kind of feedback are you getting with this system?
Yeah, we've been showing our prototypes that we have done, and we're getting just great feedback. There's a lot of interest right now. We've had to kind of put on the brakes a little bit just because, we're excited, but, we need to make sure that all of the proper development is there, and all the features are working correctly, and, we don't have any, lagging or anything, issues like that, bugs. Especially with software, there's always bugs when you first come out with it. So it's really important that we, fine tune everything before we want to present it, because especially again with software, first impressions are everything. But no, I think the feedback we've gotten from some very large hospitals, very large groups, and even smaller clinics has been phenomenal. And they're really excited for it. We've already had an office owners state how this could totally reduce their overhead and really change and really save their clinic and their staff time, allowing them to concentrate more on tasks that are internal within the clinic. There's a lot of excitement. So we're excited too.
That's excellent. And so a couple questions are going through my mind right now. So it is compatible with every sort of management software, or are there any limitations to who you can work with as far as management software goes?
That's a good question. So we're still, it's not compatible with every software system yet, but we're partnering with, we are partnered with some of the larger systems that own most of the market share, but there's some smaller ones that we still haven't, we're still working.
As Ryan mentioned, there's a lot of things that happen, and that we need to make sure that in terms of kind of the endpoints being there within these practice management systems. So when you kind of onboard the different systems, you need to make sure that all of the that technology is working properly, especially if this is going to be used live within clinics, sending communication to customers. And so we're making sure that, all the bugs are out of our platform, and making sure it's speaking properly to the practice management system. So it's really an iterative process, and we're continuing to onboard new practice management systems.
No, that's great. And that's typical. And I get that all the time about how the companies have to play nicely with each other and everything. So don't worry about it. This is a curiosity question.